Do you feel your child's feeding difficulties were well supported in the NICU?
No.
How so?
I think speech, it was very well supported by my nurses. The nurses were amazing. They were very well patient advocates. Um, the speech therapist that we had, I think she only went to go visit her maybe twice. It wasn't, and she was never available at the times that I went, which was a very different experience from my previous experience with the NICU. So I feel like if my concerns weren't heard, like when she will make the decisions to change something, even if I told her I don't think that's right, I don't think she's ready for it, it was like my concerns weren't being heard. Like it was just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and that's it. So I don't think it was very well supported, because to be able to learn how a baby feeds, you can't just base it off of one feed. Like you have to take your time to feed them on a more than just one time. Like I did one encounter and this is my assessment. Like I wish she would have spent more time and she would have seen that she wasn't ready for discharge, that transitioning her to a different nipple was not the answer, and maybe a lot of things could have been avoided.
They gave him the opportunities, many opportunities, before actually going in there and doing the intervention of a G-tube. You know, they really respected our opinions, definitely, and told us, like, you know what, we know he's there. We were against the G-tube at the very beginning, just because we would see that he was able to, but he was also struggling with other things like tummy issues. So we were very, very hopeful, of course, like any other parent would. But definitely the NICU staff supported our goals and what we wanted for him, and definitely helped us out throughout the experience. You know, dietitians were also very much involved. You know, they were constantly calling me, and then I guess we learned that we can start seeing having more meetings with the doctors and the team. So that was just very informative too, you know, being able to get everybody together in one room and talk about, you know, where he is, you know, and because there's so many heads in there sometimes, you know, there's dietitian, there's speech, there's GI, there's the doctors, and there's us and nurses. So it's a lot of people involved in your child's care. So it's nice to kind of get everybody in one room and get everybody on board to what you want, and listen to our needs. Meetings with all the staff a little earlier so that we can address the concerns that we had, or address so that we can get everybody on board. Because it was a little messy sometimes with trying to get, you know, this person to come and that person to come, but I really found that those meetings with the physicians and those family meetings that we had were just extremely helpful. It really, really helped carry on what our concerns were and get them get them across. Definitely.
Yeah, it kind of felt like having a meeting at work, because we literally covered him from head to toe. What's wrong here? What's wrong here? What's getting covered here? Okay, this is already taken care of. Yes. What's, you know, like what's next on the agenda? Yeah. So yeah, that did. I did like that.
In our NICU experience was that we can also choose nurses to kind of be primary nurses or primary caretakers for our baby. It was great in the beginning. All the nurses are wonderful. They're just so caring and really thoughtful and really educated us through the whole experience, and just helped us, you know, this is the way that you do it, you know, and you're going to be experiencing this and that. So they were wonderful. But when it got to the feeding world, or the feeding part of the whole experience, we really wish we just had, you know, particular nurses that would be caring for Omar, as they kind of knew him. You know, he would make really loud retching sounds, and if you were a new nurse in that unit, then you'll get nervous and scared because you didn't know him. But you know, the nurses that had worked with Omar before knew that was the way that he would do it, right? So our speech therapist was great as far as putting like instructions by his crib and just making sure that any nurse that worked with him, you know, kind of did the steps and the tools and use the tools that we would use to help him advance and to help him gain better feeding skills. But there was definitely some nurses that knew him a little better than others, and definitely whenever there were the nurses there that were with him, he did great with feeding, because they just knew his his way of eating rather than a newer nurse that had never worked with him before. They were just very nervous, and they hear him retch, or they hear him like kind of like gag, and they'll get kind of like, oh, does he do that? And like, yes, that's normal, he's okay. And so they were just more hesitant to try with him and really give him those opportunities.